Hey, what's up, I don't know what pun to make besides calling you all toxic, but hey, we're attempting a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Emerald using only Poison-type Pokemon. Poison types aren't known to be offensive powerhouses. This is more blatant in earlier generations where they are super effective against one whole type. Wow. What they lack in power, they make up for in defensive utility. Resisting fighting, grass, and poison itself are pretty decent, and plenty of options we have in this Nuzlocke are tanky in nature. Except you, Roselia. You're not in this definitive Hoenn experience. Will this group of Mons aid in fending off Earthquake and Psychic users down the line? Who knows, but these foes will be dangerous. Remember, in a Nuzlocke, if a Pokemon faints, it's considered dead and can no longer be used. With 8 total encounters, losing 3 throughout the entire game will prevent me from obtaining a squad of 6. Basic math is no joke. To put myself deeper into Sharpedo-infested waters, the hardcore rules I'm including for this Nuzlocke are listed on screen right now. Pokemon Emerald as a challenge possesses limited movesets and limited resources. Except this game has forgotten that my below average intelligence is enough to produce limitless strats. Before the challenge starts, remember that if you're a fan of Nuzlocks and you enjoy this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to see more. I always appreciate any and all support. And who knows, you could be a regular who hasn't realized they haven't subscribed yet. For the question of the day, I won't be creative here. What's your favorite Poison-type Pokemon? Mine's Dragalge. I just think it's neat. Anyway, let's begin the run. Arriving in Littleroot Town. I'm already encountering toxicity within my new household as my dad is too invested in his job to say hi to his own wife and son on moving day. As always, we save a man from being viciously mauled by the local raccoon. He's just being silly. It don't bite. Yes, it don't. Unfortunately, none of the starters gifted to me are poison types. Nonetheless, I picked the cutest one of the bunch for moral support. Trico is responsible for catching the first encounter of the run, a Wurmple. Wurmple is of course not a poison type, though by winning a 50-50, as I always do with my gacha addiction, we can evolve one into Cascoon and then Dustox. We hate Silcoon on this channel. This has to be Cascoon. No, it's a Silcoon! While Silcoon literally has silk in its name, Cascoon isn't all talk and releases solely the most lustrous, highest quality clothing for the public at an affordable price. In comparison, you're likely to run into a Silcoon if you take the wrong turn down a city alleyway. Oh no. Okay, enough tomfoolery. The reason for this swamped box is because I am lazy. Dustox will be our one Pokemon to fight off the Rock-type expert Roxanne, whose 3 Pokemon will have super effective stab moves on Dustox. What I'm doing is saving time by picking a Cascoon from the box and throwing my face at Roxanne over and over, replacing the Dustox if we lose. I would not do this in the middle of a run, only here since Dustox is the first encounter and I don't wish to start from the beginning repeatedly, dealing with Silcoon Cascoon evolution nonsense. That should be all the important talk out the way. Dahlia the Cascoon is ready to take Hoenn by storm as our first attempt journeys toward... Note to self, evolve all the way to Dustox before leaving Oldale Town. This time, Dustox is male. Magellan is more fortunate than Dahlia, traveling all the way to Rustboro, kicking down all the unevolved Pokemon in his path. Will this road continue its win streak against Roxanne? It could. Magellan has a few tools to survive this gym battle. Against Roxanne's first Geodude, it's important to raise our defense with as many Hardens as possible to lessen the damage of her Rock-type attacks. We're going to need to dodge many Rock Tombs and crits. After being struck by 2 Rock Tombs in a row, our held Oranberry activates to heal us. This is my cue to counterattack, though I'm worried that we're only at +2 defense. And while our Shield Dust ability is useful for preventing Magellan's speed from lowering, it means Roxanne won't be dissuaded from using Rock Tomb after her Pokemon are faster. Confusion also isn't a 2-hit knockout on Geodude. We'll need really good luck at this point. This does arrive in the form of Geodude wasting a turn with Defense Curl. Despite Rock Tomb occurring the following turn, my mashing at the Confusion button is rewarded with Roxanne wasting her remaining turns using one of her potions before performing another Defense Curl, opening Geodude up for a final Confusion. We gained the EXP needed to level up for some extra power and protection as Nosepass is brought forth second. With Nosepass's bulk, will require non-stop good luck that's simply too unrealistic to happen. We Poison Sting out of desperation for residual damage and... What do you know? Maybe we got this. Rock Tomb nailing Magellan is awful as always, but still, the passive damage each turn is huge. Time to dust off the old Confusion button, which crits and confuses. What succeeds this will have me rightfully questioned as Nosepass hits herself again and again and again. Nosepass's Oranberry, a non-filling meal. Roxanne's second potion, ineffective. I'd call an ambulance for this poor nose pass, but the cost is absurd to get one, and with Roxanne being a teacher, we know she isn't paid much. Roxanne's final Pokemon is her other Geodude. Our last strands of health allow us to survive one non-crit Rock Tomb. Confusion is again a 3-hit knockout, and with a connected Rock Tomb, we're at 2 HP and prone to falling to more accurate moves. This would make everything previous pointless. And Magellan evades Rock Tomb for the first time all battle. That's how you do it, boyo! We're past the fiend who calls herself Roxanne with this Geodude's defeat. For context, beating Roxanne in a fight where Magellan procs Poison on Nosepass, crits with Confusion, and causing the Confusion status before Nosepass hits herself 3 times in a row, and Geodude missing a Rock Tomb there is a baffling 0.0046875% chance. This percentage varies when considering avoided crits, potential dodges on Rock Tombs, damage rolls, and Roxanne using other moves like Defense Curl, Rock Throw, or Tackle. However, I don't care. We somehow won Rustboro's gym badge on our first attempt against Roxanne. Leaving Rustboro, I feel great as using the most wondrous invention mankind has ever produced for cracking backs at schools. Probably the same feeling this Devon employee is having once I retrieved his goods. During our travels to Dewford Town, my dad's sense of responsibility hit so hard that it brought the speeding boat to a halt. Judging by all this freaking math and all this other freaking math, do you know how much force my dad's voice alone would have to require to stop this boat? Probably about this much. Making it to the town overseas, Goop, Bloop the Tentacool, and Scarecrow the Zubat join the team. These two are the speediest poison types we'll have available, and the best ones overall in this challenge, especially Goop Bloop, who will be our resident Ice Beam enthusiast against Winona and Drake. For now though, Magellan is back in the moonlight to solo Brawly's fighters. His quadruple fighting resistance does wonders when Machop, Meditite, and Makuhita are restricted to only those types of attacks. Confusion and Gust provide super effective coverage to strike down all of Brawly's Pokemon, except we're staring down a +2 Makuhita, who Magellan barely didn't knock out. He's coming in hot with a max power reversal. 200 base power reminder. This could prove fatal. You fool. Confusion for the KO on Makuhita earns us our second gym badge. That was a much better showcase of the power Magellan holds. With great power comes great marketability. This small-time interviewer is seeking a huge scoop, and who am I to disrespect the hustle? Afterward, I witnessed Archie call 2 of his grunt simps. Aged beautifully this did. Now Slateport's exit is open and I'm ready to demolish May's team. This is normally a tricky skirmish to maneuver around this early on, but my team is built differently. Magellan produces mental images beyond Wingle's comprehension, while Scarecrow the Golbat wing attacks Combusken and Lombre. Not too shabby if I do say so myself. Before our next gym battle, we're free to catch 2 more poison types, Fugo the Oddish and Fong the Gulpin. They'll be there to aid us as we combat a brutal savage, someone terrible to encounter in any playthrough of Pokemon Emerald. They are Aroma Lady Rose. Oh, don't get me wrong, she was a breeze to win against. She just calls you non-stop about smells, which is a bit freaky if you ask me. She was a reoccurring call during my first ever Nuzlocke a couple years ago, and the smell obsession became quite a running joke.
You haven't gotten a call on my Pokénet.
So, like, do you want to talk about it?
Oh
no!
Spoiler alert, she doesn't call me at all this challenge. So what is the point? Alright, I've been dodging around talking about the upcoming problem trainer. Let's talk about an infamous run killer in Emerald, Watson. This electrifying man is as mighty to overcome as he is jolly. With 4 electric types each capable of paralyzing my team in their own ways, attacking Watson's Pokemon will be messy. Cherry Berries only do so much when Watson's Pokemon can remain on the field for quite a bit. Magneton's steel typing grants them various resistances for us to deal with, while Manectric is a fully evolved Pokemon equipped with a Citrus Berry. Other problematic moves include the effectively 400 base power self-destruct on Voltorb, Howl on both electric doggos to boost their priority quick attacks, Sonic Boom dealing consistent damage from Magneton, and Supersonic Confusion also from Magneton. There is one solution to help mediate all these issues: gambling! The Mauville Game Corner is home to TMs like Psychic and Ice Beam that will boost our power ever so much to prove a difference. Watson's prepared to body me, yet we at least have a strategy and the Poke power to theoretically employ said strategy and survive this boss. Watson begins with his Voltorb as I send out Magellan. Magellan is pretty much the perfect Pokemon I'd want here if I couldn't outspeed and one-shot Voltorb. I'll be fishing for blocking self-destruct with Protect, and when I'm not doing that, I'm healing off damage from Voltorb's other attacks via Moonlight. Protect even stops the rampage of Rollout's consecutive power boosts. Also, Shield Dust prevents paralysis from Voltorb's Spark, keeping our Cherry Berries safe for our later Pokemon. Psychic is a 3-shot if I find the opportunity to KO Voltorb outright, yet things go in my favor as the ball goes boom on a protecting turn. One of Watson's super potions is gone too, as Electrike is sent in second. With a Psychic, half his health is drained away. Electrike then howls. An attack boost that leads to nowhere, as Electrike doesn't choose to quick attack, letting another Psychic take him out. Now it's Magneton's turn to make me panic. I spend a ludicrous amount of time chipping away at these 3 Magnet Dorks using Psychic. Recovery with Moonlight gives me leeway once my Cherry Berry is lost and I'm paralyzed. We end up getting Magneton down to a 1/4 of their HP before they use Supersonic. Obviously connecting. I won't complain too much after what happened with Roxanne, but Magellan can't hang on much longer. Fugo the Gloom is swapped in his place on a critical hit Shockwave. Awesome. We also miss our Sleep Powder attempt after being struck by Sonic Boom. Immaculate. We fare better on the second attempt, now at the brink of death. With a free turn of sleep, I swapped a Goop Loop, who leveled up thanks to the EXP share and learned Bubble Beam. Hopefully with sleep in effect, I'll maximize the amount of Bubble Beams we can fire off in a worst case scenario. Though that is troublesome, as Goop Loop has a nature that lowers special attack with 10 whole IVs. Not the best for this situation, and it's a cause for Magneton's survival. We can breathe a tiny bit since they continue to slumber, though Watson has one more super potion to undo most of the progress made on Magneton. While Magneton is asleep for long enough to be brought back into the red, they awaken and paralyze Goop Loop with Thunder Wave. What's worse, Magneton lands Supersonic again. You got this, Goop Loop. Do the thing and break free. He gets through both status effects, allowing a Bubble Beam to feint the Magneton. Last is Manectric. We'll be at an all-time high in riskiness for what I have in store. On the switch to Fong, Manectric boosts his attack with Howl. He Thunder Waves us, though we have a Cherry Berry on deck. Yawn goes off, so on the turn Manectric will fall asleep, I jump for joy seeing Manectric howl again. We're gonna keep it that way as Fong encores Manectric. Yeah, you go dog, give us nothing. 2 Ice Beams pelt Manectric before he wakes up, still under Encore. It is frightening that his attack keeps rising, but I'm going all in on this strat. Conveniently, Encore stays in effect long enough for Manectric to fall asleep again. Cue me testing on Pokemon Showdown if Encore works on a sleeping Pokemon who uses up a turn of sleep in Generation 3. Oh sick, it does. Now I can guarantee... Well, that's one turn completely misused. It's good that one of Fong's Ice Beams connects the following turn without Manectric waking up. Next turn though, it's gonna be close as Manectric performs another quick attack that will kill if it crits. My heart is still beating, though I should really be more worried about Fong's. With Yawn and a swap over to Scarecrow, we handedly tank the incoming quick attack. Our first bite strikes for a tiny amount. We'll need 2 more to secure the KO. With a Cherry Berry, we at least don't have the paralysis in the equation any longer. It all comes down to if Manectric awakens... And he's sleeping with the fishes. For Scarecrow's third and final bite, knocks Manectric down and out. That's a victory over Watson, deathless and all, for our 3rd gym badge. Look at this team of winners, you guys. These beaten down, poor, suffering group of winners. Ignoring the Team Magma and Team Aqua plot, our final 3 encounters of the run are caught. First is Dahlia the Seviper, who called the Spirit Medium. Her mixed attacking potential does bring intrigue in where I can utilize her. Badge boost should aid her somewhat with her less desirable stats too. As for the other 2 mons, we've got Dark Samus the Coughing and a Grimer who I dub Wit Pikmin. Listen, I was struggling to think of another notable male poison user, so it's just Wit Pikmin. You with me? Anyway, Flannery's Fiery Brigade is going down next. For this, the main problem is Goop Bloop's special attack is more mid than insert popular series viewers like. Like seriously, you can't KO a Zubat 3 levels below you with Ice Beam, man. Instead of brute forcing it with Bubble Beams, I've concocted a most devious plan of attack. Ideally, Goop Bloop washes Flannery's Pyromaniacs up solo, beginning with her quad Water Weak Numel. Second is Slugma, the furthest thing from a threat with only slightly annoying defensive options to play around. Fortunately, this means Slugma is lacking in ways to offensively pressure Goop Bloop. You know what we're doing, folks? We're setting up the most degenerate way possible, Double Team. No, wait, heyo comment section. I put some spice into this blend beyond Double Team. My male Goop Bloop is a lonely lad who just needs some lovin' from these fine ladies. With Attract, Slugma either misses all her smogs, because screw overheat, or is too infatuated with my gelatinous Chad to attempt them. At +6 evasion, Goop Bloop Bubble Beam Slugma away. Camerupt is tanky enough to survive Bubble Beam, but I'm thankful for this funnily. She is put low enough for Flannery to waste every one of her restorative items. We also dodge all of Camerupt's moves, even her own attract. Simply turn away from the camel's lumpiness, Goop Bloop. Our feelings are directed toward Torkoal now with the fall of Camera. Torkoal suffers the same fate as Slugma, with her single breakout of infatuation resulting in a useless sunny day. We rain on Torkoal's parade with a thief, completing the cycle of toxic boyfriend antics and earning us badge number 4. We're out of the fire and into the family therapy session gone wrong as I make a complaint to my dad about stopping a speeding boat. Equipped with a Persimberry, we're ready for any teeter dance or Psybeam confusion. Our sneak uses Flamethrower for over half Spinda's health, surviving the opposing Psybeam afterward. Flamethrower the sequel brings Spinda down. Vigoroth is raging about second. He's faster, tearing at us with Slash. We retaliate with another powerful Flamethrower. If it had burned, Facade in this generation doesn't actually ignore the attack having effective burn. This safe attack is followed by a swap to Scarecrow on a weak Facade. The Crazy Sloth is outsped and brought to his knees with Scarecrow's incoming wing attack. Third is Lanoon. I'm uncertain if Lanoon will attack straight away or set up Belly Drum. To try and get off as many free turns as possible, I use Confuse Ray. While Lanoon breaks through it on the first turn, performing Belly Drum, the plan is to combine Confusion and Bite Flinch chances, the latter of which bails me out against this jacked raccoon. Looking back, an unboosted Lanoon wouldn't have struck us very hard, so I probably should have used Wing Attack and navigated the situation accordingly. Unfortunately, as Slacking comes through, I swap over to Fong and go off course of my original plan of juking the Magellan who has Protect to abuse Truant. Fong was to tank a hit on Slacking's attacking turn, or in this case Yawn, then the idea of using Toxic came to mind, as I was unsure Magellan would have enough Psychics, his only attack here, to defeat Slacking through Norman's healing items. But guess what going off script does to ya? Makes you forget why you did things a certain way, as I totally forgot about Slacking's Facade. In the gym where Facade is the gimmick. When I planned around Vigoroth's Facade earlier, I'm a lost cause. All I can do is hope for Fong's survival. 4 whole HP. Fong, you absolute monster. Now that Slacking is loafing around, I do what I should have originally done, swapping the Magellan and wimping out with Protect. The toxic and psychic damage places Slacking in his final resting place. With our dad's respect for us slightly improved, he rewards us with our 5th gym badge. Blessed with the ability to cause torrential floods that make even Poseidon blush, Goop Bloop is an utter terror for the AI in these upcoming areas. This includes a rival battle with May. Her Pelipper and Combuskin are nowhere close to posing a threat. Take a guess who on my team is making the Lombre with the worst moveset I have ever seen cry a river in this downpour. Tentacruel and Crobat are so good. They'll be our saving grace as we prep for Winona. The main issue in this matchup is her Dragon Dancing, Earthquaking Altaria. We'll try to get Altaria in last in the off chance things go terribly wrong and there's like 3 other Pokemon I'd still need to defeat. Our ground immunity Pokemon shoots the Vice and not baiting Altaria too soon. So as Winona's match begins, I send one of them out to face her lead, Swablu. Dark Samus has been taught Thunderbolt, dealing an immense amount of damage after Swablu wasted her time with Mirror Move. Be that as it may, I've made a blunder as Swablu uses Mirror Move again and strikes us with Thunderbolt. Would have been a cleaner play if I used Sludge turn 1, which is physical and resisted, but we aren't paralyzed and Swablu is dropped out of the sky by the end of it. This also levels up Wit Pikmin via the EXP share. Worst case scenario, Acid Armor strats, baby! Tropius flies in second. The Banana Dino delivers a pitiful Aerial Ace on our physical wall, receiving a Flamethrower as punishment. This burns Tropius too, ensuring that a follow-up Flamethrower KOs while reducing the damage of the second Aerial Ace. Winona's third bird is Pelipper. Every fan of Pokemon Emerald knows that Pelipper are the worst things brought upon this mortal plane, not caring about your own time with constant protects. Who would have thought such a genius play was in Winona's sights once I switched to Wit Pikmin. She then Supersonics Wit Pikmin, who hits himself in confusion. Going for another attack, I am salty as heck seeing a Protect on the turn Wit Pikmin gets his act together. We're in for a doozy as Pelipper water guns for begrudgingly respectable damage. And we hit ourselves in confusion again. Oh my, this must have been what Roxanne felt like. Scarecrow, you're up. 2 wing attacks make contact before Pelipper connects her Supersonic again. I don't want to swap and have a ground weak Pokemon finish the work. I am also playing around Pelipper healing, so I attempt a weaker Astonish on Pelipper to get her in range for a wing attack. And then we crit. Great, awesome, outstanding, amazing! But a flinch occurs, so I'm somewhat sane still. Except that last shred of sanity dwindled as soon as another self-hit happened after witnessing Pelipper's entire HP bar fill up. 2 high rolling attacks will allow a third to knock her out. We're damaged a bit, and I had to swap to Goop Bloop and back to rid confusion. Nevertheless, Pelipper is gutted. Fall, you stupid pelican. There's 2 more Pokemon. Skarmory comes through as Winona's penultimate flyer. This fight is putting me at my limits mentally and physically while typing the script. To To explain this Looney Tunes situation as briefly, asterisk, as possible, Dahlia kinda can't hit this bird for squat because the goated sand attack was used on her. Ooh, oh no, you can't see! Try harder. I need the Sky Armory weakened for Fong to pick off with Ice Beam since he can survive Altaria's Earthquake at full HP. I'm relying on a bit of luck to pull this off, mainly from paralysis induced by Dahlia's glare activating on the turn I swapped to Fong. Due to Dahlia requiring a Seeing Eye jellyfish, Goop Bloop is the one who weakens Skarmory, taking minimum damage through the use of his dastardly attractive charms. With a final switch to Fong, Skarmory does succumb to paralysis. And I forgot to reteach Ice Beam. Goop Bloop save me! Our Goopy Bloopy compadre knocks Skarmory out with Surf. Altaria is here and I am under a lot of stress to say the least. Goop Bloop's special attack is horrendous to the point where Ice Beam only does around 60 to 70%. Fong wouldn't have KO'd either, except it was stronger and he'd survive an Earthquake, letting me call in the Scarecrow assist to wing attack Altaria and knock her out. Now it's either we luck out with a crit slash freeze, or Goop Bloop dies. I believe in Goop Bloop! But belief can't carry us forever. It's not over yet. Fong comes through and yawns Altaria. With a switch to Scarecrow to avoid the Earthquake, Altaria goes to Betty Bye. She's then open to a wing attack that barely doesn't KO. Oh, come on. I've been put through the ringer and I still am. Fong's Ice Beam wouldn't have led to this. You know what? Goop Bloop, your name is funny to say, but your Ice Beam was deplorable. Whatever. Scarecrow can ride alone on the winds of victory. His wing attack delivers a much needed critical hit on Winona's healing turn. Remaining asleep on yet another wing attack, Altaria is finally defeated. Finally. Our 6th gym badge from Winona is on lock. Unhinged as that fight, and I, were, I've mellowed out. Thank you for your services, Goop Bloop. I give you the highest honor of being fed to the Caskin Horde. Oh, maybe that's too poisonous even for them. Let's focus on the next gym leaders. The psychic strength of Tate and Liza's double battle looking down on me has me concerned. Goop Bloop's spread surfs would have provided super effective damage against 3 of their team members, yet with Lily Cove and a few more ideal areas unlocked, there are several useful TMs to teach my Pokemon the right moves for the twins. One of these is Shadow Ball, found on Mount Pyre. This will be a fantastic attack to place on Scarecrow since he'll be faster than Xatu. Things are looking up from... or potentially looking down 6 feet under. I did the classic ignore Bulbapedia's trainer listings and rush, resulting in Psychic Kayla and her Wobbuffet meeting me in the stairway to heaven. She proceeded to then trap Scarecrow in with Shadow Tag and just wouldn't play nice. She wouldn't get confused, and with my stalling came consequences. Confuse Ray was my only non-attack. With Wobbuffet spamming Destiny Bond 4 times in a row, this was a ticking time bomb in punchable form. All I could do was delay a single extra turn with Fly and hope Wobbuffet doesn't Destiny Bond again for the 5th time, which just doesn't happen. Why you can spam Destiny Bond like this without consequence on a Pokemon who forces you to stay on the battlefield is asinine. I'm not angry, simply impressed that this design choice was approved. With the ability to switch, Kayla's Pokemon are taken out one by one, but things are looking grim. The 2 fastest and best Pokemon in my party have vanished back to back from my mistakes. With one more death, we won't have a full party for the Elite Four. Let's shake it off and improve our way of battling. Not in a healthy way though. You know how plenty of people would feel intoxicated holding an immense amount of power? This is the opposite. I have no power. I'm entering levels beyond toxicity that have permanently altered my DNA. Tate and Liza are cooked. Having not EV trained all run for the fun of it, these gym leaders will be on the receiving end of my EV'd Pokemon's wrath. Tate and Liza lead their Xatu and Claydol, while mine are Magellan and a fully evolved Fugo. Magellan is pre-damaged here with intent. I ain't floundering like a blooper. Magellan's job on turn 1 is to bait Psychics from both Xatu and Claydol. Seeing the kill, they hopefully shouldn't set up Light Screen, use Earthquake, or Confuse Ray. This works out, leading to Fugo successfully creating a sunny day. With his Chlorophyll activated turn 2 and onward for doubled speed, I switch Magellan out to Fong. We'll be cycling through Tate and Liza's team from here on out. As you can see with our Solar Beam leaving Claydol starstruck. Xatu Psychics will KO my poison types on a critical hit, though that's a chance I'll willingly take if it means Lunatone is OHKO'd by another Solar Beam. Then, with the damage on Fong, he'll continue to bait Xatu Psychic, which will be guarded against by a Protect. With Soul Rock out for the finale, I do make a mistake in swapping to Wit Pikmin. I need Dahlia in once this becomes a 2v1, since she's the only other Pokemon I have capable of outspeeding Xatu. This is to turn Solar Rock Finks, so I should have gone into Dahlia and risked 2 total crits. Instead, we're risking a 3rd as I swap from Wit Pikmin to Dahlia. Fugo's return puts Xatu in range for Dahlia's crunch to pick him off. Tough it out, Dahlia! We can't afford more losses! Dahlia avoids the critical hit. With a crunch, the killing blow is felt through Tate and Liza's psychic connection, taking out their entire team with a team of poison types deathless. That's our 7th gym badge with 1 more to go. We can't get too ahead of ourselves just because Tate and Liza are out the picture. The loss of Goop Bloop and Scarecrow will be felt for challenges to come. But before facing future challenges, let's check in on past me's thoughts in that interview from way back. I'm positive my non-mentally destroyed self's words will reinvigorate me further to tackle those remaining obstacles. What was my initial thought upon laying my eyes on Magellan? Well, that's, accurate. Roxanne was to be the most devastating gym leader with 1 Dustox. But then we lucked out super hard. Looking at my current team, they're depending on me and entrusting me with their lives. Anyway, there's more to this interview. What do Pokemon mean to me? Yeah, that's also pretty accurate. Begging for RNG to go my way is what I had to do throughout this run. I'll be altering that mindset, using my skill as a trainer to minimize the amount of risk and trusting my Pokemon back to dodge awful luck-based scenarios if we can't help it. We steamroll through Maxie and Archie's ultimate confrontations. The former through spamming Protect and letting Steven take the wheel because double battles suck, I've decided that now. The latter has Maxie's same Pokemon outside a Sharpedo with 0 water or dark attacks, so that goes about as well as you think it does. Then, once I tribute summon Cypher the Sky Dragon spray painted green to cease the actions of Groudon and Kyogre, the water gym is open to demolish. Since Surf is required to reach it, and Goop Loop is dead, we're battling Juan with only 5 of our toxic friends. He leads Love Disc as I send out Fugo, who's been so reliable lately. While this subpar fish Pokemon uses her 1 good stat to confuse Fugo with Sweet Kiss, we're holding a Person Berry to nullify it. And like with our previous gym match, the sun is out for Fugo to go wild. Fugo is faster next turn to deplete Love Disc's life force with Giga Drain. Celio also can't deal with our grass power, flopping over the Solar Beam. Juan then releases his dreaded double-teaming, rest-recovering Kingdra. While only weak to Dragon, Solar Beam deals over 50% to him. We'll survive even a critical Ice Beam, which won't freeze in the intense sunlight. Kingdra goes for double team. Hitting or missing with the second Solar Beam will decide if this fight goes the easy way or the stally way. Fugo blasts through the evasion boost. Praise the sun as this menace is turned to ash. Afterward, Fugo's not skipping out halfway through this story. 2 more grass attacks drowned Juan's remaining water types, leaving our entire team unhurt and winning us the 8th and final gym badge of Hoenn. The road to victory is laid before us, but it won't be a breeze to march toward the Pokemon League. In this dungeon, there resides a troublesome rival of ours, Wally. Even when nearing the level cap, his Gardevoir has the potential to kill one of my Pokemon with the utmost ease. To succeed, we'll have to be cheap. And that comes in the form of the substitute tutor at the top of Lilyco's department store. Dahlia's Crunch is able to 2-shot Gardevoir, so if I can get into a position where she defeats Wally's Altaria with her substitute intact, we're in the clear. Let's see if that strategy is cooking or if I've burnt the house down. For Altaria, I begin with Dark Samus. Her return deals exactly half Altaria's health. Altaria, meanwhile, uses Dragon Dance to raise her attack and speed. We're able to clear those buffs away via Haze. Then a taunt brings any future Dragon Dances to a stop. Without multiple attack boosts, Altaria cannot clear away Dahlia's substitute outside a crit. This is the point where I swap to Dahlia, holding a Cherry Berry for this Dragon Breath Altaria uses. The sub comes up, Altaria Dragon Dances, and while he's quicker than us now, his Aerial Ace fails to break our decoy. While Crunch misses the KO, I begin the process again by switching back to Dark Samus after Wally heals. She nails a welcoming crit return, putting Altaria into the red. Yada yada, Haze and Taunt. With substitute utilized for the final time this fight, Altaria's +1 Aerial Ace will still come short of... Is this some kind of twisted joke? Okay, bad time for this to happen. This was on the same turn I attacked, meaning Altaria faints and Gardevoir is sent in. I won't beat around the bush that we will 100% need to sacrifice a Pokemon to even have a chance at winning. It shouldn't come to anyone's surprise that Dahlia is the one to be sent into the grinder. She needs to deal all the damage she can with Crunch to give her toxic besties a ray of hope. Crunch does bring the hurt to this empath, but it can't claim the KO as... What kind of play was that, kid? I think this is just a plot armor run of Pokemon Emerald for me. What can I say? Without another full restore, Gardevoir is crunched away the upcoming turn. Fong is then able to tank the Future Sight on the Switch, which in this generation deals typeless damage. With the trio of Fong, Fugo, and Wit Pikmin, Wally's remaining Pokemon are easily brought down. I deserved this deathless battle after that crit on the sub. That Future Sight flub was a form of balance brought about by those beyond this mortal coil. Yet will a fortunate future be in my sights for the gauntlet that is the Elite Four and Champion? I believe we got what it takes after all our prepping for items, moves, and the like. Magellan has been hanging in there since the beginning, Dark Samus is willing to go boom at a moment's hesitation, hoping she means that metaphorically, Whit Pikmin is brawling over braining in the party, Fugo is emotionally there for me to the point of tucking me in at night, Fong is vibing and living his best life, and Dahlia possesses a broken back for carrying all of us the entire run with her speed. I'm sure she'll perk up soon. The Elite Four challenge is right in front of us. Let's begin. Sydney and his dark types are first to see the light. Against his lead Mightyena, I let Dahlia absorb the Intimidate before switching to Magellan. He hasn't been in the moonlight for quite a while outside acting like a body bag against Tate and Liza, so with Sydney being one of the weakest Elite Four members in the series, we're gonna try and be funny. Of course, getting sand attacked isn't ideal. I swap around my Pokemon an irritatingly large amount of times until Magellan pops in on Double Edge. Now with Silverwind, Magellan can not KO the bug-weak Mightyena 9 levels lower than us. Shell Bell recovery is nice, though this was funnier in my head. Sand Attack makes us awkward, especially with this miss after Sydney heals. I switch to Fong and tank a couple of double edges, yawning Mightyena by the end of it. Shockwave brings Mightyena low the turn he falls asleep, letting me safely swap back to Magellan. Sydney switches out his Pokemon too. A huge surprise to me because I have no clue what prompts the AI in these games to do so, but it's only Shift Tree. You be looking like a Chia Pet and are 4 times weak to bug. Bye. The switch prevents Dahlia and Fong from gaining EXP, which is a bummer. Absol is next to appear, whose HP drops below half from Silverwind. However, as Absol sharply raises his attack with Sword Stance, his Citrus Berry saves him from a second Silverwind KOing. We aren't safe to Aerial Ace or Rock Slide now. We were before, surprisingly, so Whit Pikmin picks up the slack, coming in on Rock Slide. Sydney gets greedy, using another Sword Stance that leaves him open to our Brick Break for the KO. The sleeping Mightyena returns. He hasn't reduced his sleep count yet, allowing Magellan to freely switch in on the mandatory sleep turn and finish him off with Silverwind. Cacturne also breaks down at the sight of Silverwind. Crawdon is last. Magellan whittles him down with Aerial Aces, due to Silverwind having only 1 out of 8 PP left. This isn't a riskless duel. Crawdon gains +2 attack via Sword Stance, and his strength would have straight up killed Magellan on a crit. Yet the content dream is fulfilled as Magellan Silverwinds a final time, drawing Crawdon over and almost single-handedly sweeping Sydney's team. One Elite Four member is down. Now that the bit is done, we can play more seriously. Phoebe's ghosties are scaring up a brawl, starting with her first Dusclops versus Dahlia. Dusclops is a huge fan of Protect, granting us a laughably easy opportunity to bring in a substitute. This is phenomenal for negating status moves like Curse. Actually, with this one move, Dahlia crunches away through Phoebe's dual Dusclops and Bayonet. Dusclops number 2 and one of the Bayonet also had super effective coverage on us, so that's great to have them out of the way. Sayonara, you nuisances. Sableye takes up the mantle of newfound nuisance with Double Team. We get off a crunch, but several attacks from Dahlia and later Dark Samus struggle to make impact. We're equipped for this stupid circumstance with Fong possessing a Shockwave that always hits. I say that, yet I actually break past the evasion to hit a stronger Ice Beam. Sableye goes down, and the second of the Elite Four is a seashell of her former self. Glacia and her Icy Squad are who we're facing next. Her first Celio is rolling on in while my lead Pokemon is Fong. Utilizing the aforementioned Shockwave, this super effective hit leaves Celio at half her HP. And according to plan, Celio calls upon a Hailstorm. Fong asks Dear Celio to continue giving us nothing via Encore, granting us a free switch to Dahlia, who uses Substitute. Then, a Sludge Bomb finishes Celio off, restoring a small amount of health with our Shell Bell to offset the hail damage. Second out is the level 50 Glalie. Substitute was my way of playing around the level 52 Glalie's explosion, though I planned for the scenario where this Glalie was sent in first. Despite the flamethrower not securing the knockout, Glalie is slower and wants to reduce our speed with an Icy Wind that never breaks the sub, unless it crits obviously. Unlike with Wally, if she had lucked out with the crit, she'd need to do so multiple times. My speed won't be lowered, making her want to Icy Wind again when I'd already have another substitute ready. Needless to say, this Glalie, and one of Glacia's full restores, are goners. The second Celio is out now, who falls to 2 Sludge Bombs after she resets the hail. Our substitute persists as the other Glalie materializes, then promptly dematerializes into nothingness by blasting her chilling shrapnel everywhere with Explosion. Glacia's Ace Walrein is last. It'll require a few Pokemon to defeat Big Bertha. Whit Pikmin holding an Aspire Berry comes through on a non-crit Surf, possessing enough bulk to survive an Ice Beam crit with hail damage, letting a Brick Break produce quality damage on the Walrus, even if a Citrus Berry puts her back to slightly above half HP. Magellan is sent in next to slowly but surely lower Walrein's health with Aerial Aces, doing so over the course of numerous turns, restoring our HP with Moonlight if necessary. When Walrein is close to fainting, Fong is switched into on an Ice Beam, avoiding the freeze. We must do so twice, as Fong had a Cherry Berry for if he had to handle Celio's Body Slam at the beginning. Luckily, the subsequent Ice Beam fails to freeze, allowing our Shockwave to vaporize Walrein, stunning Glacia in awe as we continue our Elite Four challenge. Drake's Dreary Dragons come forth here at the Pokemon League. He begins with his Shelgon as my lead is Fong. On turn 2, because of Le Epic Protect, Fong's Ice Beam grants us an immediate edge. Flygon is second out and threatens with Earthquake. Dark Samus levitates above one on the way in before she returns twice to place Flygon low. Flygon's flamethrowers aren't too worried. He'd have to get a double burn with our equipped Rossberry. Once low, Dahlia is back to the stage on a flamethrower, with a Black Glasses boosted crunch being enough to knock Flygon out. Altaria is third out. Our Sludge Bomb hits for less than half, poisoning him. The damage from this, and Altaria's double edge recoil means that I can Sludge Bomb him again to bring him down. Fourth up is Kingdra, who can dent my team through Dragon Dance, Smokescreen, and Body Slam paralysis nonsense. We get Whit Pikmin in there on a surf that he tanks with ease. At half his health from being hit by another, Whit Pikmin's Sludge Bomb corrodes more than half Kingdra's health. A high roll crit can do us in here, so I have Fugo swap in to deliver the coup de grace. Dreadfully, Kingdra decides to lower his accuracy with Smokescreens. He then Body Slams. You'll never believe what happens. Our Sunny Day at least goes off, we just need a single Solar Beam to connect. On our first attempt, a full paralysis stops Fugo in his tracks. We're out of crit range for now, though a Smokescreen into a full paralysis again puts us in a stickier position. Case in point, a third full paralysis in a row. We'll have to risk a crit. Not on Fugo, he's important for Wallace, so I switch to Dahlia on a Body Slam. Then, Sludge Bomb strikes Kingdra fast and knocks him out. Drake's signature Salamence is guarding the door to the Champions Room. I've kept Fong healthy as can be to swap in on any of his terrifying attacks. Unbothered by either Dragon Claw, Fong's Frigid Ice Beam puts the cold-blooded pseudo-legendary down for the count. Drake and the entire Elite Four are finished. There's only one battle left to decide if I reign victorious as a Pokemon champion, or if Wallace will be the dam that interrupts my flood. Who can most elegantly dance in Hoenn? I'm confident that my dashing poison types will rise to the surface and gasp the breath of victory. Let's challenge Wallace and end this Nuzlocke in glory. Wallace sends out this huge Wailord while my lead is Dark Samus. Lightning striking the whale with a Thunderbolt, half his massive HP stat is depleted. I was prepared for Water Spout and Rain Dance situations, yet Wallace surprises me by unleashing a Blizzard. I've already taken more damage than I want here, though we're not frozen and Dark Samus' Shell Bell healing will help out, as will the KO on Wailord with another Thunderbolt. Up second is Whiscash. He's a 4x Grass Weakness victim as I switch to Fugo on a resisted Surf, and with some speed EVs, Fugo can naturally outspeed Whiscash and Giga Drain the Catfish for the OHKO, restoring our HP back to full. Here comes the tough, yet beautiful, Milotic. Hard to defeat and hard hitting as a foe, we are incapable of swapping out and fending off this thing without risking losing the run to Wallace's other Pokemon. Fugo has two choices: avoid 2 critical hits and defeat Milotic himself, or die. An Aspire Berry will guarantee our moves go off if we're not crit. With Milotic's initial Ice Beam, Fugo survives the blast and uses Sunny Day to gain the speed advantage and prevent freezing. Ice Beam against Fugo is normally a 2-shot, barring that my HP doesn't alter, of course. Giga Drain will simultaneously damage Milotic into a range where Solar Beam KOs and allow Fugo to survive a second non-crit Ice Beam. Will Fugo live to see another Sunny Day? Yes, he will! 28 HP is all he needs to incinerate Milotic to dust with a 1-turn Solar Beam. Wallace's 4th Pokemon is his Tentacruel. To handle this fast guy that reminds me of my most tragic of mistakes, Whit Pikmin swaps in on a weak Ice Beam. Following an embarrassingly feeble Hydro Pump in the sun into an extra embarrassing miss, 2 of Whit Pikmin's returns return Tentacruel to his Pokeball. The ferocious Gyarados is up 5th. He's an Earthquake user. Wonder who's got this guy under control. I'd be lost if I didn't have Dark Samus. Of course, with that extra damage from Wailord's Blizzard, a Hyper Beam crit will kill us. Though I understand this risk, I also predict that Wallace would use Surf instead. Dark Samus' Thunderbolt then zaps Gyarados down to red HP. And now? Oh, you absolute buffoon of a champion. Reminder that Wallace has not utilized a single full restore this whole fight, and that we have a Shell Bell equipped. So, this Gyarados' fruitless restoration is a battery for my own Pokemon. Wallace uses every last full restore, which was enough to get Dark Samus back at max HP. Crit Hyper Beam will never defeat us now, so Dark Sammy goes hammy and kablammy! No whammies. Our last obstacle in the Champions bout is Wallace's double team spamming Ludicolo. Dahlia and Magellan are still undamaged. One has a potent Sludge Bomb, the other has a never-missing Aerial Ace. On Ludicolo's double team turn, Dahlia switches in. Certain Surf Rolls can kill her on a crit, but Dahlia is a swimmer. No matter the current, when she's got her eyes on the prize, all will be silent in fear of her demonic power. Her Sludge Bomb pierces through the after images of Ludicolo and brings about a fatal, critical hit to thoroughly liquefy the poor Pokemon. That's it. Wallace is out of Pokemon, and we've risen as champions of Hoenn in this Pokemon Emerald Nuzlocke. But what if there was more to it? Is the Hall of Fame truly the end of it all? Is becoming the strongest trainer all that matters in a Nuzlocke? Well, of course. The bonds I made with my Pokemon are a great strength. What proves that that bond is real is through Pokemon battling. The feelings I share with my Pokemon can only be expressed via such an art. So if a Pokemon battle with the strongest trainer in the region is our goal to showcase our bonds and skills, shouldn't we search for the strongest? That's right! Steven Stone is the super boss of Hoenn, and he's the most powerful trainer in the region. He leads his final battle with his Skarmory as I lead with championship star Dahlia. Like with Juan, Surf and Waterfall 2 are required to even reach this fight. Magellan is resting safely in our PC, cheering his friends on from the sidelines. With our flamethrower and a charcoal, we are hoping to achieve the 75% roll to Oko Skarmory before he sets down any nasty spikes. While the attack fails to knock him out, the Metal Avian strikes us with Steel Wing instead. This procs one of Steven's full restores the following turn. With Dahlia's flamethrower not burning through Skarmory's HP bar again, a 1 in 16 chance mind you, we outpace him yet again and seal the deal. Steven's second Pokemon is Claydol. This guy possesses 0 psychic attacks, but they do have Earthquake. Without spikes on the field, I can go directly into Fugo on the Tectonic attack, as opposed to juking from Dark Samus to him, risking an Ancient Power Omni Boost. Claydol would have to crit twice in a row for Earthquake to do Fugo in after his EXP share brought him to level 79. With the initial Earthquake doing normal damage alongside a meaningless Reflect the next turn, our Sunny Day can come through. Like with all those before him, Fugo's Solar Beam decimates yet another victim. Surprisingly, Steven's third Pokemon is his aerial acing Armaldo and not his Metagross that knows the more powerful Psychic. This is better overall. Giga Drain saps away at Armaldo and heals Fugo enough to where Armaldo's aerial ace can never kill us. With that bit of damage, Fugo goes full blast once again. Solar Beam absolutely fries Armaldo. Metagross makes their long-awaited appearance fourth, and it pains me to say this, we have little way of winning this matchup without shedding blood. No one on our team survives a crit Psychic, nor can anyone one-shot Metagross, minus frail old Dahlia's flamethrower in the sun, who's already damaged. It's also arranged to successfully do so from full health, meaning we still need a Pokemon of ours to do damage and sacrifice themselves. And it makes sense to do so with the Pokemon who is already on the field, Fugo, a dominant team member who saved us against Hayden Liza, Juan, Wallace, and now here in our most important battle. A more fitting way to be written out the story, you hero. Goodbye. With Fugo's demise, Dahlia is eager to avenge her deceased comrade, melting Metagross beyond the atomic bonds holding his Windows 95 murderous self together. Fifth in this fight is Aggron. Earthquake is the obvious play with him, and Dark Samus is the obvious answer to it. Our flamethrower is heading on the road to a 3-shot, while Aggron's Dragon Claws and Thunder strike for much less. If they even strike in general in Thunder's case. Still, Steven frustratingly full restores to heal off the damage we inflicted on the Metallic Dinosaur twice. Not wanting Dark Samus to take any more unnecessary hits, I go into Wit Pikmin on a Mist Thunder. Because Aggron is as slow as molasses, Wit Pikmin moves first and cracks through our opponent's physical defense with a quad super effective Brick Break. With Steven backed against the wall, his Cradily is our final foe. Sludge Bomb from Wit Pikmin soaks into Cradily to cut his remaining HP in 2. His sad excuse of an Ancient Power cannot outdamage us and is unable to bestow its Omni Boost secondary effect. We're one attack away, passing off this final KO to the one Pokemon we haven't used yet, Fong. He had moves up his grimy sleeves like Water Pulse for if we needed him in an emergency. With everything going to plan though, he at least deserves to partake in this moment. Thanks Swalot for the stamina to endure this critical hit Ancient Power. The AP boost is fictional, meaning Fong's Dragon Slaying Ice Beam has met a new target in this prehistoric plant, freezing him over with no hopes of thawing out. This time, our hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Emerald has officially been declared victorious, with Steven Stone conquered. Man, oh man, ignoring the insanity-inducing combo that was Winona into a Wobbuffet into Dear Arceus, the worst gym leaders we could possibly face, that was a surprisingly fun challenge that I'm pleased with. I mean, my plays involving Goop Bloop and Scarecrow's deaths weren't good at all. Forgetting an important step in the process and rushing in without thinking are bound to cause a few fumbles, but I played to my outs in most other fights in this run. It's great to acknowledge the faults you make so that you improve in the future, but it's equally important to recognize the moments you most feel proud of. The highlight for me is definitely the calculated risks I had to undergo to win against Tate and Liza without losing a Pokemon. Speaking of, shifting the talk over to my Pokemon, I was surprised how poisoning my opponents wasn't too big of a win con with all my defensive poison types. Usually, accidental poisonings with moves like Sludge Bomb were more effective than trying to stall with Toxic. Giving my Pokemon power and speed with their coverage moves on EVs was what gave us the edge for almost every boss. Yawn held better utility than any poison inflicting move in this challenge. Granted, that's because most of them have dire accuracy. What were they cooking? Roxanne's Nose Pass was the only time poison felt useful, more so because it was essentially required to win, whereas safer strategies could be found for other fights. There weren't even many ways to heal to take advantage of toxic stalls, with my only options being a one-use rest TM or stockpile swallow strats on Fong in the generation where they don't even give defensive buffs. In the end, this was an enjoyable Nuzlocke. If you also found this video of mine entertaining in any way, shape, or form, do consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.